Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. We turn our attention to the Netball World Cup. Jamaica's Sunshine Girls have topped their preliminary round stage to pool after they comfortably beat defending champions New Zealand 59-48 at the Cape Town International Convention Centre in South Africa on Thursday. Sunshine Girls captain Janelle Fowler shot a perfect 49 goals from 49 attempts, while Maya Wilson led New Zealand with 31 goals from 33 attempts. This is the Sunshine Girls' first ever win over New Zealand at a World Cup. They will play Australia in one semi-final on Saturday. Australia finished second behind England in their pool after the Roses overturned an 8-goal third-quarter deficit to win 56-55. It was Australia's first defeat of the tournament, while England remain unbeaten. So Lance and Ricardo, would you have preferred England Roses rather than Australia Diamonds as Jamaica's opponent for the semi-final? Lance, you're first.
I think England would be a more favourable opponent for the Jamaicans in the semis than the Aussies.
Why?
The Aussies are just hard to beat. They're world number one. They have won this title more than any other team in the history of the tournament. And they're just a hard team to beat. I know the Jamaicans beat them at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham last year. But when they had the rematch in the final for the gold medal, the Australians won. So I think Australia will always be a more daunting opponent than England. So I would say that I would have preferred to play England.
Yeah, I always thought that today would have been an important day at the Netball World Cup, because I was thinking to myself, Jamaica needs to get the better of New Zealand to avoid Australia in the semi-final, not even thinking that Australia would lose to England. And that was quite a shock, at least for me. But you have to give credit to England. They were 38-30 down with about 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, and they were able to turn that around to be behind by just 2 at the end of the third quarter, and at the end of the match they were up by 1. That was a terrific performance. But to the Sunshine Girls, a few important statistics here, Lance and Mariah. 1, Jamaica beating New Zealand for the first time at a World Cup. So that is significant. What is also significant is that this is New Zealand's largest defeat ever
in the history of the tournament.
In the history of the Netball World Cup, which is significant. I must be honest, going into this game, I felt the Sunshine Girls were 10 to 15 goals better than this New Zealand team. With everything that I've seen this tournament, I just felt that the Sunshine Girls were significantly better. What I didn't expect, though, was for the game to be as close as it was for 3.5 quarters, essentially. Jamaica 15-11 up at the end of the first quarter. They were 22-all with about a minute to go in the second quarter before the Jamaicans pulled away with 3 or 4 late goals. Jamaica up by just 2 at the end of the third quarter. And I thought to myself, this is where we're going to see the maturity of this Sunshine Girl setup, because Lance and Mariah, we have seen so many times in the past, as we look at the quarter scores,
yes,
where Jamaica taking on teams like England, Australia and New Zealand do well for 2 quarters, do well for 3 quarters, and then fade away in the final quarter. That was not the case in this match. What Jamaica did to New Zealand by winning that final quarter 18-9 is what New Zealand have done to the Sunshine Girls many times in the past, is what other top teams have done to the Sunshine Girls many times in the past. And for me, it just shows the quality, yes, but the maturity of this team, Lance and Mariah, and how they handled that occasion when this match could have gone either way when it was tight in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, and holding their nerves is one thing. We have to give credit to the defensive unit led by Shamira Sterling, Jodianne Ward and Latanya Wilson, because what we saw from those 3 ladies, because what I find from the stronger teams, they start to play a particular mind game against teams that, you know, we would say are the underdogs. In no way I think Jamaica are underdogs, but we have to remember, we've seen this story many times before. History has a part, it kind of affects your mental. what I saw from the girls in that fourth quarter, as if they were flying extremely high. And I mean, the scores speak for themselves, because 18 and 9, of course, the girls where the offense was concerned. And we have to speak about the captain, Janelle Fowler.
Yeah.
The manner in which she leads this Jamaica Sunshine girls is brilliant. And I think it's something that the other girls also are feeding off.
Yeah.
I think the narrative that I'm getting from Ricardo is suggesting to me, based on how impressed you were, Ricardo, with the maturity of the team and how they pulled away from the New Zealanders in the fourth quarter today, is suggesting, if I'm reading you right, that this Jamaica team is even better than the team that played at the Birmingham Commonwealth Games last year, which you saw, you were there live, Ricardo, which would give fans of the Sunshine Girls some confidence that no matter who they face in the semis and the final, if they get there, they can go all the way. The final will be played on the 6th of August, which is Jamaica's Independence Day. And because summer is usually a proliferation of global sporting events, we are not unaccustomed to see Jamaica celebrating a sporting success on National Independence Day holidays. Most recently, last year at the Tokyo Olympic Games, the women's 4x1 with Elaine Thompson-Herah closing off, completing the gold medal there on Jamaica's Independence Day. So I'm just saying that it's an opportunity for the Jamaica Sunshine Girls to make the entire nation happy on Independence Day.
Yeah, it definitely is an opportunity, Lance, but it will be tough. Australia is still a very good team and they are still world #1. But before I even get to talk about Australia, Mariah mentioned Janelle Fowler, who is just stunning. 49 goals from 49 attempts in today's match. Our defense has been great throughout the tournament, and again, we're good in this match against New Zealand. Make no bones about it. In my opinion, the New Zealanders have not been great this Netball World Cup, but for me, this was the best match they have played. They came out to play against this Jamaica team, and defensively, New Zealand was very good as well, but the patience shown by the Jamaican team, I don't know that I've seen a Jamaican netball team play this calculated before. One of the things I was impressed with is the number of short passes that they made, the number of bounce passes as well. They didn't always keep the ball in the air to give the New Zealanders opportunities to make intercepts. And that's where you have to give credit to the coaching staff led by Connie Francis, but also maybe credit to the growth of these players, having the experience from playing in professional leagues across the world, whether it be in England, Australia or New Zealand.
Yeah.
And that was very much on show in this New Zealand game, Lance.
Yeah, significant point you're making here, Ricardo and Mariah, because in the same way that people felt that during the 1970s and 80s, the West Indies were able to dominate world cricket because of the experience they had in the English County Championship, which sort of polished the talent coming out of the West Indies. I'm seeing where the Australian Suncorp League is providing a platform for a lot of the world's best netballers to improve their efficiency. And I'm not sure how to read Australia's loss to England today, but the two English stars that beat Australia today are stars of the Suncorp Super Netball League.
Yes.
Eleanor Cardwell plays with Shamira Sterling and Latanya Wilson for the Adelaide Thunderbirds in the Suncorp League, and Helen Housby plays for the New South Wales Swifts with Romelda Aiken and Samantha Wallace de Trini. And these two star performers were the keys to England defeating Australia today. So I think Australia are recognizing that their own professional league is making a lot of the stars from the other countries stronger. And I'm not sure how they feel about facing Jamaica in the semi-finals, the Aussies, but I quite think that the Aussies are fearing the Jamaicans at this point.
Well, they have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have to fear the Jamaicans because this is a quality team with options. We have given Khadija Williams a lot of credit this World Cup for her feeds into Janelle Fowler, which has been such a critical part of the Jamaican attack. And then today, especially in the third quarter, Adine Thomas was brilliant in that position as well, getting the feeds in to Janelle Fowler when the New Zealanders built pressure. there. So it's going to be a great semi-final. It's going to be a great rest of the tournament. I just want to caution, though, that as much as this is the best Sunshine Girls team we've ever sent to a World Cup, and as much as this is a real opportunity to win it, Australia has a great team, England has a great team, and if they don't win, it's not an indictment on the team, but it just means that the quality is there in the Big Four.
Yeah, well, we look forward to see how it turns out, but what we've seen from the Jamaica Sunshine Girls, we're not going to put anything past them, and I'm hoping that Jamaica can get an Independence Day press hunt. It's break time now on the SportsMax Zone.